My name is Jennifer Salazar. We'll start over. Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jennifer Salazar with the Texas Senior Medicare Patrol. I'm also a director at the Better Business Bureau Education Foundation in Houston, Texas. Thank you all so much for joining us today. Today, we're going to talk about the top 10 scams of 2021. But first, I want to tell you a little bit about our program and what we do. So we are the Senior Medicare Patrol. There's a Senior Medicare Patrol in every state in the United States, including Guam, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and even Washington, D.C. So that's 54. Your Senior Medicare Patrol is based in Houston, but we cover all 254 counties in the great state of Texas. We're federally funded, and we recruit and train volunteers to talk about Medicare fraud, error, and abuse, and how to stop it. But if it does happen, we have a wonderful team, myself and Mr. Robert Obregon from South Texas, that build the cases. And when I say build the cases, we take your Medicare summary notices, we review the charges, then we turn them into the appropriate control units like the Office of Inspector General, the Texas Attorney General's office, and they investigate the case. The smallest case Robert and I have ever put together was $18. Our biggest case was $134 million. But without further ado, let's get into the top 10 scams of 2021. And this is what we see the most at the Senior Medicare Patrol. So I'm sure it's no shock to you that we're not the only ones that read the headlines. We don't just read the news. Consumers like yourself read the news every day probably and watch the news. But guess what? So do scammers. Did you know that scammers follow the headlines and they will learn something about the truth and they will turn it into a scam? They like to follow the news. So a lot of times if you see something on the news, don't be surprised if the next day or a week later, you get a robocall with the same subject, like COVID-19. That is because scammers like to stay up to date and they want to make sure they know what's going on so they can try to scam you later. So let's start with number 10. We count these down from 10 to 1. And this could actually be the top 40 of 2021, but we're not going to keep you 4 hours. We're only going to keep you an hour, and we're going to count down the top 10 because we've narrowed it down to the 10 that we get the most calls on. Number 10, stealing from the grieving. And this one is pretty bad, my friends. It's very sad, but you have to remember something about scammers. They don't care about your feelings. They don't care if you have a broken heart. All they want is money. The root of all evil. That's all they want is money. And what they do now is just like the news. They like to watch the news, but they also like to watch obituaries. That's right. Obituaries is when a loved one passes away and we write a beautiful little article on them. We put it in our local newspaper. We'll put it in the city newspaper, and we'll even put it online to remember our loved one. And our friends and family read that to honor the loved one. But guess what? Now scammers read that as well. And they come up with horrible scams to try to get your money because you're vulnerable right now. And what they do is they might call you, they might come to your door, and they'll say something like, your spouse owes a debt. They even took a lien out on your house, or they took out a second and third mortgage on your home. If you don't pay this, you're going to lose your home. They will say anything they can to try to get your money. Period. But at the BBB Education Foundation in Houston and the Texas Senior Medicare Patrol, we don't want to just tell you about the scam. We want to tell you how not to fall for the scam. According to AARP, the more you know about a scam, the less likely you're going to fall for it, 80% of the time. So what do you do to not fall for the scam? I want you to hit the pause button if you get a phone call, if you get a knock on the door and you just lost a loved one and it's a bill collector. I want you to stop for a second. I want you to go through your finances. I want you to go through their important papers. And I want you to think, does this make sense? Call us at the Senior Medicare Patrol or the Better Business Bureau. We can look this up for you. I also want you to make sure they're a legitimate business, to make sure this person is a legitimate person or if they're a scammer. But I also want you to request a copy of the contract. If there is a lien on your home, if there is a mortgage on your home, there's going to be a contract, I promise. In that contract, I want you to look for misspellings, grammar issues, and a sloppy signature. Because a lot of times, guess what? Scammers will do fake contracts. That's not legitimate. So when in doubt, check it out. Give us a call. Number 9, and we see this a lot. We see number 9 a lot. Did you know scammers are so bad that they will actually case neighborhoods? They will go up and down the street and they will look at homes and cars and see if there's any damage. And then they'll knock on your door offering to fix that. And what they do is say, I can fix that busted tail light for you. It's just going to be $100. I can fix it today. And oh, wait a minute, I have another appointment. Let me go ahead and collect the money. I'll get the materials and I'll come fix it in the morning. They take the money and they run. Or what they may do is say, oh, we're with the city water department. We wanted to check your water to make sure it's safe to drink, that there's nothing toxic in your water. So we're going to take a sample. Oh, we also need to turn off the water just for an hour, just to make sure everything's working properly.
Yeah.
Then guess what? An hour later, they're going to say, hi, I just came to turn back on your water. That's a $250 charge. Well, they never said that in the beginning, right? They're going to hold your water for ransom. They're going to basically try to get you to pay that $250. These are criminals. If someone knocks on your door trying to get into your home to check your water or to check your electricity to see what carrier you're with or any of that, you don't have to let them into your home. It's okay to be rude. It's okay to slam the door. If you're in doubt, call your local sheriff's department. So how do we not fall for this scam? Do your homework. Did you know Americans in all 50 states spend up to, as a total, $1 billion a year on home repair? That's a lot of money. When you hire someone to work in your house, do a job interview, because guess what? These guys are now your employees. They work for you. You're paying them money. Ask for their resume. Ask for references. Ask questions. Don't be embarrassed to ask questions. And no matter what you do before they start working on your home, get a contract. Get everything in writing. Even if they're just going to cut down your tree and haul it away, make sure in your contract you have pick up my branches, pick up the trash, because they will not do it unless it's in the contract. Counting our way down to number 8. And we get this one a lot. This one's very tricky. This is called the bank fraud protection scam or prevention scam. It either goes by protection or prevention. And on this one, my friends, what it is you'll get a telephone call from a scammer, but they'll pretend to be your bank or your credit card company. And don't let your phone fool you, because what they do with your telephone is they have a magic trick that's called spoofing. They can change the phone number in your caller ID. They can even put your bank's name or your credit card's name or any name they want to in your caller ID. It's called spoofing. And what they do is you get a phone call and it looks like it's your bank calling, and you pick it up and you say, hi, how can I help you? And they'll say something like this: Miss Salazar, we've noticed that someone's trying to hack into your banking account. We want to stop it before it happens, but unfortunately we don't have the code because our system's down. Can you look at the back of your ATM card and give me that 3-digit code? Guess what, my friends? That's not the bank. That's the actual scammer. The actual scammer is trying to hack into your account while they're on the phone with you. Because to hack into your account, they need your expiration date on your credit card or on your debit card, and they need your 3-digit PIN. And they might even be as bold as to asking for your card number or your account number to try to lock your account. On this scam, unfortunately, about out of 10 people, about 6 fall for the scam. And this one's pretty hot right now. And the problem with this scam, especially if it's your debit card, that's your ATM card, it's hard to recover the funds. Once you give the scammer that information and they take your money, they run. It's hard to recover those funds. Credit cards have more protection than debit cards, because when you think of a debit card, that's money coming directly out of your bank account. But a credit card, you could put a stop payment faster, and you can also dispute the charges and try to get your money back. So how do we not fall for this scam? Because this one's pretty hot right now. Well, first off, never share your personal or financial information over the phone. Never share your credit card information over the phone unless you're calling someone wanting to buy something and you know it's that person. But if someone calls you out of the blue saying they're your bank, trust me, they already have your information. They don't need it. Even if it looks like it's someone you know, don't trust it. Even if it looks like it's your bank, don't trust it. What I want you to do is take that bank card, take that credit card, look at the phone number on there and call that number. Don't trust the number in your caller ID. Also, while we're talking about spoofing real quick, a lot of times scammers like to use your area code and the first 3 digits of your phone number because you're more than likely going to pick it up because it's called neighborhood spoofing. So just be careful. Counting our way down to number 7. This one is one of the biggest scams that we have seen this year, but we've seen some even bigger than this one. And yes, this one has been around for quite a few years, and it's not the kind of phishing I like to do on my weekend. And I promise you all that I'm spelling phishing correctly, because a lot of times people get mad thinking I misspelled phishing. This is a new technology. It's been around for a few years, but instead of phishing like I like to do on my weekends, this is phishing for emails. Okay, so basically what this means is a scammer can change the name in the email. Okay, so when it says from Jennifer Salazar, guess what? They can use my name, but it's a different email address. Or guess what? From Amazon, from UPS, from your favorite store. Do you guys ever get those? You get an email from what you think is Amazon, or even worse, you get an email from your best friend, and you know your best friend is traveling to Europe or on a cruise or going to see her grandkids in Arkansas, and she lost her wallet, she lost her purse. She sends you an email saying, I can't believe I lost my purse. Can you send me some gift cards? Guess what? It might not be your friend. We had that case last week. A sweet gentleman's best friend was traveling to Arkansas. He said he lost his wallet. He sent an email to his friend, had his name, everything, right? When our client went to Kroger to buy 5 gift cards for $50 a piece, the cashier asked him, sir, if you don't mind me asking, why are you buying this many gift cards? And he said, my friend is in Arkansas. He lost his wallet. The manager came over and they called us. It was a scam. So let me tell you how not to fall for this scam, because scammers go for good-hearted people and scammers look so legitimate. First off, I don't want any of you, if you're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, any of those things, if you go on a trip, if your friends go on a trip, don't post all that on Facebook when you go on a trip, because scammers watch Facebook too. And what they'll do is they might come up with a scam that sounds so real, because guess what? You're traveling. You could lose your wallet, right? But let's talk about how we can protect you. First off, your mouse. This is a powerful tool. Whenever you get an email and it says like from Jennifer Salazar or from Amazon or whoever, I want you to put your mouse on top of that name, okay? If you put your mouse on top of who it's from, wait about 5 seconds, and guess what? An email address will appear. And if it's Jennifer Salazar, it's probably going to say jsalazar@bbbhou.org. But if you put this on top of my name, put the mouse on top of my name, and it says 123gobananas.gmail.com, that's a scammer, okay? You know it's a scammer because it's a weird email address. Same with Amazon, same with UPS. If you do get an email from Amazon, again, take your mouse, put it over the thing, and if it says something and Amazon's misspelled, it's a scammer. Also, if it says you are going to lose your Amazon account, click here to load money to your account, scammer, okay? Do not respond to the email. Don't click on the links in the email. Just delete the email. Because if you click on the links, it can load viruses to your computer, which we'll get to in a little bit. All right, counting our way down. Are you ready for number 6? Looking for love in all the wrong places. I don't know if any of you know that old movie, Urban Cowboy. We like to use that song, Looking for Love. This is happening a lot. This is the romance scam. It can happen to anyone of any age. We had a client as young as 95 years old that fell for the scam, and it's not their fault. We have seen a 50% increase in the romance scam since coronavirus. 50% increase. And what this is, anyone can fall for the romance scam. If you have a computer, a telephone, a front door, you can fall for the romance scam. This is basically when someone contacts you. A lot of times they'll contact you on Facebook and they'll just wave like, hi, or they'll call you on the telephone. And basically what they're going to do is they're going to develop a relationship with you. They might even send flowers in the beginning. They might even send a card. They start chatting with you and it becomes a romance. And then they're going to start isolating you, like telling you, hey, I don't think you should tell your kids about me because this needs to be between us. Don't let them into your business. And what they're doing is they're isolating you because they don't want other people to give you advice on them or sending money or anything like that. Now, what will happen is a huge emergency. We've seen this so many times. Our most recent case was a lady that was 92 years young, and she fell in love with a gentleman who's stationed in Afghanistan. He was in the military. He got out of the military. He's 40 years old. And they start talking and they build a relationship. She starts sending him money. And then she went to her daughter asking for help because she can't afford her light bill and her groceries. And her daughter's like, well, Mama, what's going on? Then Mama finally tells her about her romance that's been going on for 4 years. And the horrible thing is the client's not convinced that it's not love. She's working with her pastor right now, and they're working together because it's like a grieving process when you finally realize, wow, this was all a scam. And a lot of people get a broken heart. In fact, in Australia, there are more suicides than murders because of the romance scam. That's how big the romance scam is in Australia. But here in the United States, we've seen a 50% increase. But worse, we have seen a new scam with the same twist. We have seen what they call long lost relatives. For example, we had a lady that got a letter from her father. She stopped talking to her dad back in, I think it was 2001, because her dad was an alcoholic. And she said, if you don't get help, Daddy, I have to cut you out of my life. And she did. She got a beautiful letter from him saying, I'm so sorry, my love. I've fixed my errors. I'm still in rehab. I'm working it out. And she really believed this was her dad. But instead of calling her, her pet name, which was Baby, he called her Honey. And she thought something was off. So we did some research and found out he passed away. He passed away many years ago. And guess what? It was a scammer. He knew enough about her to write her this letter. So we have to be cautious. We have to be on our A game. So how do we not fall for the long lost relative or the romance scam? Well, first off, always be cautious of people you meet online. This is going to sound silly, my friends, but this works from any age, from childhood to adulthood. Stranger danger. If you don't know these people, stranger danger. Remember, scammers read Facebook, Twitter, the internet. They read all of this. And just because your settings are on private, your friends might be posting things about you. Your grandkids could post pictures of you. Anything and everything about you is on the computer. If you go Google my name, you're probably going to find my birth date. You might find my marriage certificate in Jefferson County. You can find out a lot of things on me. You can find a lot of things on you. Go Google your name. Even if you've never been on a computer, have someone do it. You will find records on you. Scammers can get those records too. If you do believe that you are in love, you can take a picture of your romantic friends and you can put it on a website called Tineye, Tineye. And what that does is it compares their face to all over the internet, and you can find out if they're a scammer or not. We did that with one of our clients with a photograph of his romantic partner. And guess what? Her picture was on over 5,000 websites. She's actually a model, but she's a scammer. She's a scammer. If you need help doing that, call us. We don't judge and we look that information up for you. No matter the situation, the biggest red flag for anyone is when they ask for money. If they ask for gift cards, when whatever they ask for, that's a red flag. Ladies and gentlemen, when you're on Facebook and someone tries to be your friend and they say something like, Linda, you have a beautiful face and your profile looks lovely. If you don't know them, stranger danger. Don't even start talking to them. Okay, working our way down to number 5, and you're in for a real treat. We have the 2-for-1 special. We actually have a tie on 2 of these, the Medicare scam and the Social Security scam. Now, I do think I see somebody very special on this line, and I hope he doesn't mind me bringing him up. Robert Obregon, are you on the line today?
Yes, I am. I'm
Okay,
having trouble
so,
with the video though.
oh no, we don't need to see you, Robert. Robert is, he works for me out of South Texas, and he is fabulous, everyone. He has a wonderful story, and Robert, I'm sorry, I just saw your name. He has a wonderful story with Social Security. Robert, do you mind sharing that?
Hey, for those of you who are seniors in the audience, you probably remember that you did not get a social security number until you were about 14, 15 years old. And maybe you got a job at HEB or at the gas station washing cars or whatever. And they were going to actually pay you with an actual paycheck, and they were going to take taxes away from you. So we didn't need a social security number till then. I got mine in 65 when I was 15 years old. And about that same time, that's when Medicare and Medicaid came along, and they started giving social security numbers to little bitty babies at birth. I mean, that's part of the paperwork at the hospital nowadays. When since then, but we didn't get that number until our teens, and when we were in high school and college. I mean, we were a number all of a sudden. We weren't uh, an individual, or whether we weren't by, they didn't go by our names anymore for some reason. The official record was your social security number. That was who they were dealing with. And sometimes they got those social security numbers mixed up. And I mean, there was minor chaos, but overall it was a way of keeping order. And if you remember, around that time we were also watching all the secret agent movies, James Bond and Maxwell Smart, and Secret Agent Man, and the song that said they've given you a number and thrown away your name. Little did we understand what that was saying to us. I mean, we were a number. Even the military started using your social security number instead of issuing you a serial number like in the old days. But again, things have changed, and for the last 50 years, we've been giving away that social security number. And then still we wonder, how did they know who I was when we get all these 15 scam calls a day that we get? You wonder, how did they get our information? How did they get, uh, uh, how did they know who I am, where I live, etc.? They even know the color of my car or my color of my truck, etc. All of that is public information, and with the computer systems that exist nowadays, the technology, it's very easy to obtain. So what the three bits of information that are needed are your name, social security number, or your date of birth, and they can do wonders with that information. So
Exactly. And like Robert was saying, a lot of folks don't know that you still don't give out that number. When I was growing up, I'm 40 years old. When I was growing up, my mom's utility bill, the account was her social security number. And they stopped that around 30 years ago. And now they don't want you to give out your social security number for anything really. And that's because scammers can use that social security number to take out credit. They can use it to apply for jobs. They can sell it to people for identity, for them to use it as their own identity. They can take out taxes, all with that social security number. So scammers know this, my friends. So scammers have taken it to the next level. They're going to call you pretending to be Social Security, pretending to be law enforcement, and they're going to try to get your Social Security number. When they pretend like they're law enforcement, they might say that you have been connected to a crime, your Social Security number was used, we need to try to make it right, or you're going to go in front of a judge. They're going to do whatever they can. Or they're going to claim to be Social Security and they need to talk to you. Now, when these people commit this scam, they're usually going to be very ugly. They're going to yell, they're going to scream, they're going to cuss, they're going to threaten you. They're going to threaten you a lot. They're going to say like they are going to revoke your social security number. So this is what I want you to know to keep you safe. First off, Social Security usually doesn't call you over the telephone. They definitely don't text you. Now, if they do call you, they usually send you a letter 2 weeks prior letting you know that they would like to make contact with you. But they're just not going to call you out of the blue. Now, if you do get a Social Security check, you have an account, right, that check goes into. Scammers know that too. So they're going to tell you things like that account and your social security number. If you don't comply with them, they're going to suspend, revoke, freeze, or block the account so you won't get your money or your social security number. It's all a scam. It is all a scam. Don't believe them. hang up on them. If they even say the sheriff is coming to arrest you and they get your sheriff's name correct, don't be scared about that, because guess what? You can find that on the internet. If they get your address correct, don't be scared. They can find that on the internet. I want you to get one of these. It's a cowbell. If these people harass you, harass them back. Do the bell in their ear, or get a whistle, or get an air horn, because they're scammers. Now, moving on to Robert and my specialty, Medicare fraud. This is also number 5 because it's a tie. We see a lot of Medicare fraud in the great state of Texas. We have millions of stories, but that's for another day. But we're going to tell you the most common scams that we see with Medicare fraud. First off, did you know a Medicare number is worth at least $30,000? What? $30,000 for that little card number, right? Scammers know this too. What they do is they need your card number. Then they're going to come up with what's called a false claim. They're going to turn that into Medicare. Medicare may accidentally pay it. It's up to the consumer, up to all of us, to read our Medicare summary notices. If something doesn't look right, you need to call us at the Senior Medicare Patrol or Medicare so we can get it fixed. But here's the biggest thing you can do to stay safe. No matter who calls you on the telephone, don't give out your Medicare number. Don't give out your Social Security number. Scammers have a way of trying to get numbers from you, and they use anything new to get your numbers. For example, a few years ago, everyone got a new Medicare card. Well, guess what? That scam's still going on. You get a phone call. Hi, this is Jennifer from Medicare. Did you get your new Medicare card? Great. Was it paper or plastic? It was paper. Well, I apologize. I want to send you the new card. It's plastic. It even has a microchip. I just need to verify your Medicare information. Let me tell you one thing right now, my friends. Medicare will never call you over the telephone. You're going to get a call from Elvis from the grave before you get a call from Medicare. You're going to get a call from Queen Elizabeth in England before you get a call from Medicare. Because when Lyndon B. Johnson signed Medicare into legislation in '65, that was a fraud protection, and it still is today. Medicare is not going to call you over the phone. Also, you're not going to get a call over the telephone offering you a free back brace, neck brace, cream, stuff to help you. If you do, it's a scammer. They're trying to get your Medicare information. A lot of us don't like to go to the doctor, me included. I have white coat syndrome. You send the doctor and I get all nervous.
How are you?
Guess what? Scammers know this.
Question.
Scammers know you might not want to go to the
Jose
doctor.
comes
They'll
back.
call you offering you
You
a knee
want him to
brace
put
for
up
your
the
Medicare number.
forms?
All right. So the best thing you can do to stay safe against Medicare fraud, read your Medicare summary notices. If you're on a Medicare Advantage plan, read your explanation of benefits. If you see something that looks wrong, call us at the Senior Medicare Patrol. But remember, Medicare is not going to call you on the phone. They're not going to visit you in person. Working our way down to number 4. If you work in an office, if you have a computer at home, if you have a phone, you need to watch out for this. It's called the tech support scam. You usually get a pop-up on your computer, on your telephone, and it says that they're from Microsoft or Apple or Nordson, or you'll even get a telephone call saying you may have an error on your computer. Whatever you do, don't click on the link. Don't give the people on the phone a check, anything. Because what it is these guys are actually going to load viruses to your computer. They're not there to fix anything. They're going to load something called malware. And malware is basically a nasty virus. Yes, computers can get viruses. And what it's going to do is it's going to lock down a lot of your files. It's going to ruin your computer. And sometimes scammers have a technology that's called logging keystrokes. What does that mean? If you're looking at your bank account, they can figure out your passwords. That's what logging keystrokes mean. So how do we stay safe? Because we need computers to function every day. Well, first off, don't be afraid of your computer. Don't click on pop-ups. Sometimes if it doesn't allow you to click out of that pop-up, just X out or shut down your computer completely. It's very smart to change your email and your social media passwords every few weeks just to stay safe, and pick passwords that you will remember but will be hard for others to crack. And guess what? Don't use your date of birth. Don't use your kid's date of birth. Don't use your significant other's anniversary. Don't do any of that. I tell my husband all the time, it's okay if you forget our anniversary. It's better than identity theft. Trust me, because scammers can look up anniversaries, dates of birth, you name it, they can find it. All right, working our way down. Are we ready for number 3? Let me warn you before we go to number 3. This has been around forever, this next scam, but it has so many new twists. Please pay attention. The grandchild hook. We used to call this the emergency scam, the grandparent scam. Same scam, new twist. So back in the day, the scam used to go like this. You would get a call usually in the middle of the night, and it would be what you think is your grandchild. And it would say, the grandkid would say something like this: Nana, it's Jenny, and I'm in Tijuana, and I was arrested. I was just having a good time during spring break, and the cops found something in my car, and I promise I didn't take the drugs. It was my friend Becky's drugs, and she got away, and mom and dad's going to kill me, and I need $5,000, or they're going to put me in a Mexican jail, and I don't know what to do. That used to be the old scam. Or, Nana, I'm in the hospital. We were in a terrible accident, and you need to come get me, and it can't go on mom and dad's insurance. Can you just send me money, please? Something like that. Now it's changed. It's changed through the years. And now instead of it being I'm in jail or an emergency or something like that, it's now, Nana, I lost my job. It's been very hard with COVID. They shut down the factories and I can't afford rent. Becky's braces need to be tightened. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how we're going to make it. We're going to be kicked out in a few weeks. But guess what? There's a job interview coming up and I just need a new suit. I need help with rent. Can you loan me some money? That's a new scam, my friends. It's not the emergency. It's now COVID. We even had a caller that just lost her husband. Her husband passed away. And she got a phone call from her grandson. And her grandson said, Mima, I can't believe grandpa went to heaven. And I want to come to the funeral, but I can't afford the airfare and I need a new suit. Can you help me? She knew it wasn't her Benjamin. She knew it wasn't her loved grandson because he was right there with her when the scammer called. But what if the grandchild's not with you at that time? How do you not fall for this scam? Because I don't know about you guys, but my children are my life. If someone calls me threatening something about my kids, you're going to listen. Same with your grandchildren, same with anybody you love. Scammers know this, but there's even more to the scam now. Did you know that there's a new technology? If you do speeches like Robert and I do, or if you pick up the phone or whatever you do, and the scammer gets your voice, just a snippet of your voice, they can use your voice and put it in technology. They can put it in a computer and they can make a phone call using your voice. So technically it is you calling the grandparent, but it's really a scammer. It's just your voice. And what if the scammer gets their name right? Like Gigi, Mima, grandmother. Guess what? You might not be on the internet, but your grandchild is. For example, Mother's Day, a picture of me and grandmother sitting by the lake. They just figured out, hey, Becky calls her grandmother or Nana. They now have enough information to scam you. Now, some ways to stay safe. First off, don't send money. Don't send gift cards. That's your first red flag. Don't send money or gift cards. If you get a call out of the blue from a loved one asking for that, don't do it. Do your research. Ask them for a family code word. Have a code word that only you and very close family members know. It can be any code word you want. Now, my grandmother's code word 6 months ago was Johnny Depp because she has a crush on it. You can change this password as much as you want, but make sure your family knows. Or ask them questions only your grandchild would know. Like, hey, how's your cat doing? Well, your grandkid doesn't have cats. He's allergic. Only ask questions they will know to stay safe. Making our way down to number 2, robocalls. Did you know the state of Texas in 2018, 19, and 20, we were number 1 for receiving the most robocalls in the whole United States? In fact, when your phone rings, when your cell phone rings, did you know 60% of the time it is a robocall? It is a scammer. And this is crazy, but do you want to know why we get so many robocalls? Let me tell you why. For a scammer to use a robocall system, did you know they can make 5,000 calls in 1 minute? 5,000 calls in 1 single minute. And it's very cheap for them to do. It's a very cheap technology. And all they want to do is get you to press a button or to say hello. Have you noticed, have you ever gotten a robocall and it says, this is so-and-so, press 1, and all you do is say hi and then it cuts off? They're just trying to verify if out of those 5,000 phone numbers, if anybody has one of those, because they take so many phone numbers, put them in the system, and they're trying to weed out the ones that have been disconnected, the ones that are fax machines, the ones that don't belong to anyone, and then the live ones. Once they figure out, hey, we have a live one that belongs to, and then they take the phone number that the person said hello or pressed a button on, they take that number, put it in their computer, and they're like, that belongs to Jennifer. Jennifer lives in Spring. And then they might go to something called Google Earth. That's something on the internet where you can look at an address and see what a house looks like. And then they see that Jennifer drives a blue car. Then they find out that Jennifer's sheriff is Sheriff Gonzalez. Then they do a little more research on Jennifer. Then Jennifer's going to get a call in 2 weeks, and it's going to go like this. May I please speak to Ms. Salazar? Yes, this is Jennifer. How can I help you? This is the IRS. You didn't pay your taxes back in 2005. If you cannot come up with the $5,000 today, Sheriff Gonzalez is going to send a deputy out to this address, 102 Mockingbird Lane, and they are going to arrest you. Or if you want, you could put your blue CRV Honda 2016 model up for collateral. What? They're coming to arrest me. They know my car. They know my address. They know my name. They know my date of birth. What am I going to do? It's a scam. This is a scam. They learn as much about you as possible, and it scares you. It scares you so bad, you're going to go get every credit card you have. You're going to get your bank account information. You're going to go buy gift cards because you don't want to be arrested in front of your neighbors. You need your car to go places. This is how scary these scammers are. Don't fall for it. Remember, everything about you is on the internet. Trust me, the IRS can get a hold of you. They're not going to call harassing you like that. Ask Willie Nelson. They'll probably send you a certified letter. They're going to know, you're going to know if the IRS wants to talk to you. This is not how they're going to do it, but this is how it starts, is the robocall. How do we not fall for the scam? First off, this is hard because this is our property. This is our property. Don't answer phone calls from numbers you don't recognize. I know that's hard, but let it go to voicemail. Did you know when you pay your phone bill every month, there's a lot of protections on your phone that you may not even know of? There might be like a free app that you can load to your phone that will stop a lot of these phone calls. You can also purchase things as well with your phone plan. So number one, can anyone guess the number one scam of 2021? Now, I'm going to be honest, this next scam, we have probably 50 scams in one, but we narrowed it down to the ones that we see the most of recently. It's the COVID-19 scams. Remember what I said in the very beginning of this presentation. Scammers watch the news. They stay up to date with what's going on. They do this with COVID as well. They know that we are in the middle of a world pandemic, so they're going to do everything they can again to get your money. Now, we've seen a ton of scams this last year. I'm sure Robert and we could tell you millions of stories, but we're only going to tell you the top ones that are going on right now. What's going on right now is scammers are calling you, posting things on the internet, sending you email and text, basically promoting a lot of false information. For example, you might think that you can get free masks online, and all you got to do is type in your date of birth and take a survey. Definitely a scam. Or you think you can prevent or cure COVID with these simple pills. Also a scam. There's no such thing as a cure for anything. If you see any advertisements with the word cure, it's more than likely a scam. Because when you think about it, we really can't cure anything. When you go to your doctor and you're diagnosed with diabetes or cancer, they're not going to say we're going to cure you. They're going to say we're going to fight. There's another big scam. Guess what? With Medicare and COVID, you get a phone call. Hi, this is Jennifer from Medicare. The government wants to make sure no one on Medicare gets coronavirus. So we're going to send you a packet because you qualify. You're going to get N95 masks, hand sanitizers, hand wipes, Lysol. We just need your Medicare number to send you your free kit. They're using COVID to get your Medicare numbers. Another one is to get your COVID-19 vaccine shot. If you don't want to wait in line, you can click this link and just add 50 bucks and we'll let you skip to the line. In fact, we'll get our golf cart and we'll pick you up in the parking lot and drive you to the front of the line. That's also a scam. But what we're seeing the most of right now is the following. So if you got your vaccine already, I just had my second one, you're given a card. It's a paper card. And guess what? Scammers want this paper card. And a lot of us are so proud of this vaccine because it's finally a light at the end of the tunnel. We finally get to go see our grandkids and our children and try to get back to a normal society. But guess what? When you post this online, like, look, I got my vaccine today. When you post that picture of that card, it has your name, it has the type of shot you received, and it has your date of birth. Guess what? Scammers now have your name and your date of birth. They can commit identity theft. But not just that, scammers are taking copies of the card you just posted and they're recreating new ones and they're selling them. Now, why would a scammer want a vaccine card to sell? Some people are not getting vaccines and they want to lie about actually receiving them because their work or the school they go to, their housing authority, if they're in certain housing, and if they're traveling overseas, they have to prove they had the shots, but they didn't get the shot. So they're going to go to online like eBay or something and buy a card that said they got the shot when they really didn't. All part of the scam. So don't post it on Facebook or Twitter or anything that you're on that you got your vaccine, okay? Because scammers are using that information. Another big scam that we're seeing with COVID right now is taking a survey. Now, what is the catch? They're going to offer you a lot of money, but they need shipping and handling to cover the cost of a prize you might receive, or they need your bank account information to give you the money. So this right here, my friends, if you have the screen up, this is one of the fake surveys that we are seeing. I want you to remember that scammers can do and will steal logos. They will steal logos to make it look authentic. This survey, and Visor came out saying this is definitely a scam. This survey is using Visor's logo. And if you read it, it says free rewards. Now, let me tell you something about the word free. Nothing in life is free but your mama's loving. When you see the word free, that is definitely a red flag. And then it says free to take the survey and provide valuable consumer data. And then they want you to take it now. Take it now. So think you're going to get 90 bucks. It doesn't cost you anything and take it now. Wrong. This is coming in your email. So again, what was the trick we learned? I want you to take your mouse. I want you to put it over where it's from. Wait 5 seconds, and then the real email address will appear. Well, guess what? This isn't Visor. It's this weird name, 2102 at Hotmail. Definitely a scammer. But there's another one also out there, this one. And this one's a little more generic. Your opinion is needed for COVID-19 vaccine research. Guess what? Most Americans want to give you their opinion. And you can help save lives when you think about it. So your opinion is needed. And not only that, you can make 1,220 bucks. It's free to take the survey, and you're helping your fellow American. Take the survey now. But look at the writing. This looks very weird. It says right now we are offering a rewards, and then that's bolded. Then some of it's not bolded. This is definitely a scam as well. So the red flags you need to watch out for is legitimate surveys won't offer you money, gifts, or incentives to take them. Also, surveys usually don't expire, and it doesn't say take now, take now, take now. There shouldn't be an urgency. Again, take your mouse, hover over the name, and make sure to know that logos can be stolen. Also, when you do take a survey, if they ask for personal information, if they ask for your date of birth, your social, your Medicare number, run away as quickly as possible, because that's the perfect tools to commit identity theft. Now, there is a real survey out there. It's called the CDC V Safe Survey. This is the Centers for Disease Control, and Medicare, that's CMS, Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, the CDC, and the companies, Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, are requesting and directing people that want to take a survey to go to this website. And the reason why they are doing this particular survey is to track symptoms of the coronavirus shots, because they are trying to monitor people's symptoms to see how the shots are working. They will not ask for your birth date. They will not ask for your social, your Medicare number, or your checking information. Also, if you did have your shot, you might get a survey from the place you got your shot from. I got my shot from an actual hospital clinic, and they did send me 2 texts. They said, did you get your shot? Yes or no? Yes. Did you have any symptoms from the shot? No. Okay. Monitor the following symptoms. Call your doctor if you do have symptoms that are uncontrollable. Okay. They didn't say, what's your date of birth? What's your social? No, they just ask about symptoms. Those are okay to take. Now that concludes our top 10 of 2021. Now we do something called Scam of the Month. We take the most popular scam that we know of for that month, and we do a recording on it on YouTube. And then we send that out to an email blast. Right now, I think we have 2,000 people that we send these out to now. If you want to be involved in that, just send us an email. And I'm also going to put our contact information up. And we always like to leave a few minutes at the end of the call for the wonderful Area Agency on Aging who hosted this today to say a few words, but also if there's any questions or comments. And I do see something in the chat. Yes, someone asked, could they get this PowerPoint? So we would love to send this PowerPoint over to Miss Yvette with also the top 10 scams and schemes in a list. That way she can get it out to anyone that attended. Also, we are doing a survey today because we have a federal grant. If you don't mind taking a moment, if you don't mind, and we don't see these surveys, so you can be honest, just fill that out for us. And that way we can turn that into our federal grant. Does anyone have any questions, any comments, anything they'd like to bring up? And Robert, did you want to mention anything else?
Yes, I do. Can you hear me now?
Yes.